I have a few announcements. So first of all, this is my first public talk. Before I just talk inside my company for our team, so don't judge me so hard. Second topic, if you have any questions, I have 24 slides. Please keep it to the end.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's start it. I can tell you that this is a very modern, very fast-growing framework, and we will just really briefly. So I'm not a really huge expert. I'm just a fun enthusiast about Next.js, and I will just try to give you a few topics, which is quite cool. Okay, does that work? So agenda. I will start with my story behind. So I have my project, and I just migrated to Next.js. Yeah, and about Next.js, a brief intro, different methods of server-side rendering. We will cover it, all of them. Data fetching, stuff after the box for developer, business benefits, cons and pros, and a demo if we will have time. And hosting alternatives for us. So for migration, I have here my side project. It was written with React Static. It also was very small library. And author of this library just said, guys, I need to just discontinue this project because Next.js is coming out, and basically it will do the same but better. And as you see, with Next.js, as I was able to just create a small prototype and just to have feeling if it's a good match or bad match for my project. I just so I have this was in React and this was also in React. I just provide a small migration for homepage and just to test like initial loading for the homepage, if it will be good or bad. And as you see, even it was Next.js version 12, it was already quite good. So even now it will be even better. So I decided to use Next.js. Also nowadays, you have a lot of variety of frameworks and a lot of possibility, and it's all your shoulders as developer, as a team, who need to actually make the decision. In my case, it was easy. I have suggestions from this owner of previous library framework, and I just choose Next.js, and it's up to you whatever you want to use and try. All of those is and by the way, it's not a full list. Here in my slides, you have just 3 dots, so you can navigate and see the full list. And about popularity, so I compare Next.js for the last year with Gatsby, Nuxt, Svelte, and Vue, and as you see, Next.js in the first position. And here we have Angular, Next, React, and Vue, and only React in the first position. Yeah, obvious, right? And Next right after it. So it's quite popular. Community, it's quite big. Yeah. So what is Next.js itself? It's open source JavaScript framework. Allow you to build React application with ease. It's also have inside links, router, image optimization, and CLI. So it's actually a lot of powerful feature. It's not a full list, so we'll cover a bit later. By default, every component in Next.js is React Server component. Maybe someone will really know it. It was introduced in December 2020 by React team, and it was successfully. Basically, those components is rendered on the server side, brings you all benefits of server side application. And what also has Next.js together with Turbo Repo and Turbo Pack, it's a bundler. So basically your application will be built in very fast speed, and the Turbo Repo, it's a compiler. Yeah? So basically it's React on steroids, okay? Yeah, okay. So let's dive into client-side rendering. So this is like native React application. We have our JavaScript, our HTML. We need to send it to end customer. So we need to so it will be on a build process. So then we need to send it to a client, then it needs to be downloaded, then it should be executed, and after that your page will be viewable and interactable. And you see here you have this 3 times loading state, so you need to really wait till it will be loaded. So, and the change of server-side rendering is that we could move some work from the client side in a browser, we can move it back to the server side. And here we can prepare some frame or some core which could be handled on server side and just push it directly to our client, some skeleton or frame that could be already delivered. In this case, you will have like very quick response, so you will have like very good impression of your web page that's quick, but we still need to download and execute JavaScript, so in our case React, and afterwards your page will be interactable. So it's still like a downside that you have like this kind of feeling that okay, you have something, but this time is really low and it could be even omitted at some point. Static site generation. So what it brings, it's another technique of server-side rendering. This is building your page completely on server side. We could fetch content data or whatever you need. Then this static generator will create for you a page, which could be very easily delivered across CDN, because the content won't change. So we build it during this build time of your application. Then it could be pushed to the hosting, to the static page, and the end user. So basically, this type of pages will hold very high load of your application, because server needs very low power to just deliver this kind of page. So just another technique you need to know. And also what was introduced by Next.js. So if you will say like, okay, what if I need to change my content? Should I rebuild my whole application? If your application is big, it's not really convenient way. So Next.js created for you incremental static regeneration. And basically you have a power of rebuild your static content still on a server side, deliver to frontend, but in this kind of revalidation. You could have time revalidation or webhook action, like create, update, delete, and then this page will be updated and delivered directly to a client. Another very cool feature about it, it's versioning. So if you have some kind of error or whatever, you can roll back instantly to the previous version and you will have working web page. Okay. Yeah, about fetching the data, as every application needs to have a fetching. Browser native fetch does not have those features. You need to implement it or take care about it manually. Loading state, abort request. So if you have many requests, then you need abort previous one, caching, revalidation, and error handling. So it's still possible, right? But you need to do it manually. And what does Next? So Next.js just enhanced this default one. So you use like a fetch, but it will be not a browser native fetch. It will be enhancement Next.js fetch. Okay, and it has few benefits. It has caching included, request deduplication. So if you, for example, have on a page two components which need user profile data, it will be fetched once, and this data will be shared across these components. Revalidate, again, timing and on demand. So it's done on routing handlers, or if you have, you can provide cache tags and you can just update it when you need it. You just call update on cache tag and that's it. Yeah, and it also works on server components. Okay, and I want to introduce you another library also from Vessel. SVR, so stale while revalidate, it's like more powerful library to fetch a data if you need to have cover more complicated use cases. Yeah, it's very fast, lightweight, unreusable data fetching, built-in cache and request duplication, real-time experience. So this is actually quite interesting if you need to fetch your data at some intervals for like live score or whatever. You don't need to like figure out like intervals or set timeout. You can just create a special method there and it will do the job for you. Yeah, transport protocol agnostic, server-side support of any kind of type of this, type ready and React Native. So I use it and it's quite powerful. So I can just recommend it. So now we will cover a topic that, okay, let's say we cover the stuff when our web page we just deliver data statically, which is always the same for any user, right? But what to do if we need to render user-specific data, which cannot be cached on somehow on the edge or on CDN level? So what we can do to actually increase speed and interactivity of our web page. So with Next.js, you have something like streaming your data. Basically, you can prepare your components in a smaller chunks, and you have full control of it. Like if you want to load it in a sequence or in parallel, it's actually very powerful and very flexible. Another very cool part about it that this will be rendered with not blocking of the main thread, and also when it will be ready on server side. So maybe you see on Amazon, if you open this first page, you have like it's like rendered in a rows, like you have your history, recommendation, and our deals for you. So this is exactly this case. And second cool feature about I want to highlight, it's still experimental, but it's already very, very on demand, and this is really nice feature. It's partial pre-rendering. So let's say you have your application and you have a lot of static components on it, like logo, menu, I don't know, some kind of pictures or columns, which actually don't need to re-render every time you just navigate to the site. Basically, you can have this layout as a shell, and you just leaving a hole for dynamic content. So in this case, you could have like a cart, would be a dynamic content, and here like a price or whatever. So it's actually, again, increase interactability and user experience, better user experience for your web page. What else for developers? Routing, improve performance. Next.js team talk about it a lot, and I just mark it here at the list. It's really fast, so you can try it, and I also show you from my migration, it's just true. SEO benefits, yeah, because of this is server-side rendering by design, this SEO is really easy to implement and easy to use. Enhancement image optimization, this is also actually quite important. So before I have to do it manually, I have like third-party library to generate each image on different size, and with Next.js it's just done automatically. So for big screen you have like for Retina you have like 4x image, for tablets, for laptops you have like 2x, for mobile you have 1x, and this is done automatically by Next.js. It's actually very cool. Automatic code splitting, yeah, so this turbo bucket of report I mentioned before. IP routes for serverless function. It's actually because Next.js is again server-side oriented or designed like in this level, you could build your application only on API. So if you just need to have API which could be available like globally, then you still can use Next.js. And seamless development experience. Yeah. It's not end. A lot of templates. Yeah, so for beginners, when you have an example how to do what, with a lot of templates, you can really just learn faster. Basically, you can open template, like I want to create a blog, or just have a feeling how it looks like, and what a server-side link is. You can just select a template with blog, you just copy it to your repository, deploy, and you have it. And it's really fast way to learn it. Built-in analytics. Yeah, this is important maybe for European Union when you have, in Germany, you have the GDPR law that if user not allow you to have third-party cookies like Google Analytics, this built-in analytics is actually allowed. So it will be stored in your server, so it will be fine. Middleware support, yeah. So middleware support comes together with this workflow integrations. So you could have like authentication, authorization, or what kind of middleware you need. Workflow integration with CMS, databases, comments, logging, monitoring, and so on. Now you have really a lot. You would connect Shopify, WordPress, I don't know, any database you can imagine, it's already there. And GitHub Actions, yeah, if you have a testing, it's also supported, so all good. And for business benefits, accelerating MVP development. So you can actually create your MVP very fast. You have small application and you can already deploy it and have a look if it's good or bad. So you could already have like a first impression. Yeah, SEO. I don't need to say too much about it. Triggering development ecosystem. Yeah, so this is also true. So when you get used to Next.js, you will know that you have a lot of libraries which just help you to build your application. As I mentioned before, you have this for data fetching, you have for authentication, and so on. Scalability for future growth. Actually, this is quite important. So you can start it for free. You have like a hobby plan, which is completely free. And then as your resources are growing, you will be able to choose like another tier, and it's actually very, very convenient, and I would say it's quite transparent. So you really have all statistics for all your resources which is used by your application, and actually you can check which resources is more used, and you can even check in which way you want to optimize your web application to actually reduce this amount of resources. So in my case, I have intro video on the homepage, and it was very heavy. So the load of the resources was too high, and I just switched it to another provider and lazy loaded, and it was working well. Data security with firewall. So this is a new feature. It was introduced, I think, this year with Next.js conference. I will have dedicated slide for it, but I can tell you that this is actually quite important, and you also now you have it out of the box. And faster time to market, support on demand. Okay, model architecture and reusability. So this is also true. So if you have like one application in Next.js, you can easily clone it or just reuse the same components in another application. So because the same code base, the same framework, this is just, it will shine basically for you. So what about coins? Learning curve. Yeah, so it will be easier for you if you know React. And also what you need to learn about the server-side rendering complexity. It's actually depends on your requirements. So you need to understand what is your application should do, what is your requirements, and then you will figure out which kind of technique of server-side rendering is better for you, and then you will just reach this point. Lack of built-in state manager. So if you know React Toolkit or Toolstamp, it's already could be added. Yeah, I use it Redux Toolkit, and actually now you have even power to share the state on a client and on the server side. So if you need it, those both will work. Limited community and a few third-party library supports. About limited community, I'm not so sure because Next.js is quite popular. Only why it's here about limited community, just because you need to keep track of Next.js updates and features. So basically, till nowadays, you have really a lot of features and you need to specify exact version of Next.js which you have trouble, because at some point you have an issue with newer version, but you have in top results solved solution for previous version. So you need to really Google your specific version or just use the latest one. And dependency on vessel. Yes, this is true, but also I will tell you that you still can host your Next.js application on another hosting provider. I will also have slide for it. Yeah, and about GTBR and that's the firewall. So by default, you have database in Washington, DC, and to have no problem with GPTBR in Europe, you need to switch it to Germany. And if you know all those badges, it's for security certificates. And now your Next.js application with virtual hosting actually will be covered by those what certificates or license certificates. Okay, use cases. When Next.js would shine? Basically, when you need fast, reliable SEO web page. It's just simple as that. So blog post, commerce, news, and public API. As I said before, you can just build public API with Next.js is no problem. And when we should not use Next.js. So when we don't need server-side rendering, basically. When we don't need it, why we should use this on demand and we need to maybe pay for it, right? And when we do need SEO. In my case, so for back office, so for employees, they don't need actually server-side rendering or SEO. It's just you need to log in and work there. Dashboards, statistics, and mobile applications. Yeah, Next.js it's bad. Actually, it's a bad fit for mobile application. And few words about future. React 19 and Next.js 15. So both is on experimental mode, so it's not release ready. But one feature I will tell you. So basically, by Next.js Investor, you will have covered with infrastructure. So your code will be delivered across the CDN network of a website. With a framework, you have like a lot of power, a lot of flexibility. And about your code, with React 19, this new feature in React compiler, you will have this automatic memorization. Basically, you will have React during this build time, will analyze all your components tree structure, figure out dependencies, and wrap it with memorization, like all of those. And this should bring you much faster web page to reduce re-rendering, so unnecessary rendering of components. And in the end, much faster filling of your application. Okay. Demo. So from the idea to production, faster than ever before. So this was actually presented a few months ago on this Next.js conference. I don't know if you have used it or not. Maybe you have used it already, generative UI. Basically, this is generative UI from Vessel, so it works quite well. So I think we have time, so I can try to show you. It basically look like that. You just have a prompt where you need to prompt whatever component UI you would like to have. So I have here an example. Yeah. So for example, you can prompt simple to-do list with possibility to add and remove items. And here you have like different kind of UI versioning. Yeah, so you can navigate to different views, or you can modify whatever you would like to change. Only what is left is just to, here you have a code of your component, which is generated for you. So you just need to copy it to your IDE and prompt in CodePilot, make it interactable. Basically, this is how it works. Yeah, I can show you another example with the weather, but I think you'll get the idea. And very important stuff that it's available of this SDK, and I already see few companies already use it and deliver like another product, but it's basically the same. And I would like to show you another feature, future stuff. It's from Victor. So let's try to view it, make it bigger. But basically, the idea behind that maybe for future, we don't need actually all this web application at all. We just need one prompt, and we can render this server-side component in a view, and you can just proceed with your prompt and just have it. Your information, email address, name, delivery, payment.
Why not?
I'm sure John Connor wouldn't use it.
It's from Stripe, I think, if you use it. Yeah, and basically you just place an order and you have covered it. So why you need all these icons and so on? Just prompt whatever you need. Here you have also another demo from Vercel. It's again like prepare for you, and you have like example. I would like to buy something, right? And you can just have component which is rendered in a view. You can just easily, I don't know, manipulate in a way you would like to have it and just purchase and you have it, right? That's it. Maybe it's a future, so I don't know. So, and the last part about hosting alternatives. So, do you remember I talked about about this Next.js update? So during my presentation, I was not aware that Firebase now also supports the server-side hosting, so I should add it to my slides. Yeah, basically whatever you like. If you don't like a Vercel, or you think it's too much expensive or it's too much hassle, no problem. Free to choose another one. Yeah, I haven't used it. For me, Vercel works fine. So I think that's it. If you have questions, you can connect me on LinkedIn, and if you would like to download the slides, you have here. So,
thank you very much for your talk.